So I decided it's probably time that I do a vault guide on Siptah. So I'm going to do a little series, not to have like one giant episode that's super overwhelming. So if you play on Siptah, they will all be like coming out hopefully very soon. But today we're starting off with the Gremlin vaults, or the Refuge of the Gremlins rather. If you're a returning viewer, you will know my skill at naming things in the game. And hi, if you're new to the channel, I'm Illibet and I play a lot of survival games, Conan being one that I play a lot of and make a lot of guides on. And yeah, like I was saying, we're doing the vaults. There's a couple of reasons to want to come to the vaults. There's some pretty good recipes to be learned, some things called Sigils that will give you buffs, like the one here, particularly good because it gives you the ability to have the chance to double harvest, along with having perks. So like I have already taken the liberty to strip mine the area because there's a lot of resources you can come to get from these vaults as well. It's not just all the recipes and the sigils and that, but already having the sigil as well. And I've used an Altharium pick without a mod on it, without an advanced toolkit thing. If you don't know where to get the Altharium tools, I also have a guide on that, so do check it out. If it's not out already by the time that this video is released, there will be a link somewhere. But like I was saying, I have the Altharium tools. I've taken the liberty to strip mine the area. I have this type of situation going on. It's kind of a general harvesty, fighty vaults build. I advise coming with full expertise and having double harvest and probably carry everything. So this is what you can get with using Altharium pick with no mods and those perks I have, as well as the Gremlin sigil. I got a couple of these guys out of their pockets as well. I started off with this stuff, but you can also get a lot of these divulged demon horns, goblin horns or whatever. Every vault drops a different type of one. You can put them in your fluid press to get ichor, which is a kind of nice source of ichor. This is a very good place to come get all of this type of stuff. They occasionally drop decaying Altharium in their pockets as well. Random things like alchemy base and ash and raw bone, this type of stuff. A couple of the volatile gland dudes around, they're like explodey, these ones. So I advise also killing all these guys down here before you go mining, but you can get things like crystal, and then there's black ice, all the crystals starting to respawn. There's also brimstone, all the things that I showed you in my pocket, essentially up and around the cliffs. This particular vault doesn't have lotus, but some vaults you can find lotuses at as well. Anyway, let's enter the vault. So like I said earlier, I'm going to talk about all the stuff like the recipes and things at the end. We're just mostly going to run through. There's a couple of decor things you can touch around as well. Yeah, there's another statue thing. We may or may not find it on our journey. The majority of this run will be sped through as well. We'll try and touch all of the boxes that I know the whereabouts of and kill all the guys and see how much we can get from there. I'll probably end up dropping like the feral flesh and a couple of bugs and things like that. But yeah, we'll see what we have and try and not be slot capped by the end of the video. I am in God mode also, so I'm cloaked. They're not going to attack me. I'll turn that off briefly just so you can see like the damage I do to them and they do to me. And then I'm going to run through the majority of this, just admin killing them and farming them, just to show you all the path and where stuff is, etc. So out of God mode now, they'll start attacking. Sorry about my clicking noises as well. They don't mess me up too much with the stats that I've got and the weapons I'm using. Proxic Warhammer, this type of situation. This is also something you can get from the vault. This might not be meta or anything like that. I don't play on Siptah very often. It's just what I wear to get about killing vaults and things. So it works for me. Yeah, a thing to note about vaults is also that the boxes may or may not be there. They're a little bit random. So you've got to look in all of the corners and that to try and find them. There's a couple of little like secret rooms with levers in a couple of the places. I'd been killing them. And you can gather them all up in a nice little pile, which is a pretty efficient way of harvesting them all. We haven't found any special boxes yet. Loot what you want. Down that way is the way we need to go, so we'll finish exploring in here. Loot the boxes. Again, just take what you want. I loot everything, so they respawn if you're not on single player. Another box right here, and then I think that's end is. Most of the vaults are pretty straightforward with the direction that you have to go, but there's a couple of like sneaky little bits. I'm going to turn off stamina drain as well, just to get through this place a little bit quicker. So this is like one of the areas that I mentioned that have these doors that will open if you find the lever that attaches to the door. So I'll kill all these guys and then show you that in a moment. Or up here. I usually advise killing all of them first before you loot because they can kind of gank up on you. Unless you want to kind of do the pile thing and then, yeah. So hit this lever. It's going to open up all of these doors. There's sometimes boxes inside, sometimes not boxes inside. Today we have no boxes inside by the look of it. Nope. I have turned down my FOV and my sensitivity just a tad because I know it's not common to have very high FOV unless you're playing on PvP because, yeah. So yeah, I've tried to make that a little bit less jittery for everyone. But it's weird for me. And sometimes there's a box hiding down here. Not today. You go through the door over here. Did we search in here? Nothing. And you can run around the edges and look for boxes, kill all these guys. I'm going to try and get them into a pile so I can show you what I mean. You just aggro everyone. Around. Look for boxes along the way. It's quite dark in here, so I also advise bringing some type of torchy light source. Okay, now I'm going to go through and admin kill them all. But it's not hard if you have axe or something like that. They're not quite as piley as I would like, but you can still kind of get 2 for 1. Now constantly check whether you are slot capped or not, especially when it's harvesting something you want. But doing this also just makes 1 loot bag and then a couple of loot bags, and you just loot those if you want the stuff in them. Any boxes? Low on the boxes today. So I generally come in this way because it's not the way to go. So you come in here first, look for boxes, kill the dudes. You got skeleton keys, you can open up these things. I will spawn in skeleton keys so you can see what you can get from them. It is kind of just like every other legendary box, kind of random chances. I was gonna say I do often find the love tap in these though, and things like Forge Light and Glimmer Moon and things tend to be more common. They say it's random, but so we'll loot that because love tap. It's a great truncheon if you are unfamiliar with it, and we've got 1 Eltharion box there. And you don't have to loot all and then take the time to drop out of your inventory. That's just a habit I have. Then head down this way. We've got a couple little side pockets that sometimes have boxes. Loot that, kill him. That was terrible timing. And another one over here. Gather them all up so you can kill them at once. That's the way, I'm pretty sure. No, that's what you... So you gotta come down here, activate this lever. Gather everyone up. Some of them are leaving. And that will happen sometimes if you take them too far away from their little point, their little leash. Yeah. But even with that group, it wasn't too hard. It wasn't hard. And don't forget to regularly empty your inventory of the trash if you are a compulsive looter like myself. Oop. I'm probably going to miss some, but because they are random, it's good to check in all the little corners because there may be one there one day, there may be one not there. And we go here. Nothing. Oh, 1 in here. Finally, 1 in a room. Up in these corners. Kill all the dudes. When they land in a... I can't even skin them good, so it doesn't even matter when they land in a pile. There. In through the door. There's generally nothing like hiding in those little spots. Sometimes there's one around here. Okay. Hiding there. Sometimes there's one up here. Not today. Bring back out the torch so you can see slightly better. Went down any of these. There's not really any usually boxes like just there, but... And then we are slot capped again, so I'll quickly empty something. Also, if it wasn't super obvious because I didn't fully explain, standing on these plates activates the doors. So now we are in the end room. Kill all these guys first. You can pick them off, they're pretty easy. And then I'll show you how hard this guy is for a couple of swings before I kill. Oh, yeah. He's not bad at all. But again, you may not have something like the Phyroxic one if you haven't already done a vault or have tribe mates who've done the vaults and have the weapons, or you're on PvP and you've killed some people, so you should probably dodge when that happens also. And then you want to... Sorry, phone call. So make sure you have a clearish inventory, and you probably also want to bring some potions and stuff. You're not running it in gold mode like myself. A meat cleaver is probably best because you get a bunch of abyssal flesh from them and some demon blood and stuff. If you use a pick, you don't get the abyssal flesh. If you use a pickaxe or an axe, you'll get some as well. And now he is defeated, you'll be having access to this door. Most of these end room dungeons don't have any boxes in them, so you don't have to end room. The rooms at the end of the dungeon don't have any boxes in them, but there is a couple in here. Take those. And this is your big treasure box, which drops this sigil. And we're going to go into the info. The man at the foot of the sarcophagus leaned over it and moved his candle as if he were writing with a pen, inscribing a mystic symbol in the air, the hour of the dragon. When the maelstrom grew out of control, shimmering across the multiverse, summoning creatures from beyond this world, the elder races retreated to their vaults. The voluntary exiles gave them time to research and prepare weapons with which to fight the things from beyond. This sigil is a result of the research. Using this sigil provides a person with an otherworldly trait for a while, in this case boosting their capacity to recover resources. So yeah, it's going to give you boosted resource things, so like 1 to 2 if you're like gathering rare resources, although they've kind of balanced it a little bit, and like the divulged demon horns and things like that no longer count, but they may not have fixed Zeal, so that's up for testing. But yeah, loot all that stuff and you will get some things like exile land recipes on occasion. That's not guaranteed, so if you don't have that, that's fun, because there's no really other way to get them unless you collect schematic fragments. But that's in my Lair Shrines video if you want to know more about that. So I'm going to take all from there as well. We're going to touch these and they're going to teach you the Goblin Armory and the Goblin Vault Armors, which teaches you. Somewhere in here there's also the recipe for this guy. If you see the statue, there's one of them you click on, it gives you that. We kind of ran past him. It might also be in the other Gremlin dungeon. So you're going to get incarmine stuff, which is pretty cool. It does bleed as well as all of its extra stats, and also the hands of the gremlin and the aspect of the gremlinoid. So a more in-depth look at the incarmine weapons. The great axe has 62 health damage with 22 armor penetration, and it does bleed. The incarmine, this is all just spawned in without being crafted with a good thrall, mind you. 56 health damage, 44 armor pen. Incarmine axe, 53 damage, 0 armor pen. Incarmine sword, 50 damage, 8 armor pen. Incarmine daggers, 44 health damage, 17 armor pen. And it does bleed on light attacks as well. And a shield, when you are hit, it does bleed. It's much like the grey one's weapon and shields. If you haven't seen my guide, if it's not out yet, also it will be soon. On the grey one's weapons, they've got a guide where to learn all of those. They're a little bit heavier, pretty decent for thralls. Yeah, I digress. So you can also find a horn on the ground that you can touch and get the recipe for the goblin horn trophy, the insignia that you can put on the wall, and the statue. I'm going to show you what they look like quickly, although I cannot place them in this particular location. The aspect of the goblinoid helm, I think I said gremlin before. I so stuck in my brain because of the name of the vault. 110 armor, gremlin digestion. So we're going to read that quickly, or just the bottom. Anyway, you can pause and read the top. When worn, a hunger for the taste of of raw flesh and the metallic tang of blood fills the wearer. Caution should be taken, lest the bloodlust becomes too strong. So I'm pretty sure you can just like eat raw food while wearing it. I don't use it very often. And then reduced climb cost. Hands of the Gremlin. These gloves seem to bind to the surface that they interact with, reducing the toll of climbing on the body. Used to be the gloves of Jill, but that's what they do. And then you've got your sigil that we read earlier. Oh, actually, that's a different one. Never mind. If you're in the vault for a long period of time, you're going to get kicked out of the vault. So keep that in mind. Touch all this stuff fairly quickly. Because if you're on a multiplayer server, you can't access the vault if someone's already in there. If the door is blue, it's good to go in. If it is grayed, someone's already in there and you can't until they come out. So that's kind of nice. By the time you come out, all the stuff will respawn so you can harvest again what you want. And we're going to see what we gathered. So we just run around. We've ended up with all of the hide, a bunch of black ice, which we can now harvest again, a bunch of stone and crystal, brimstone, not a huge amount, a fair bit of raw ash. These that I advise don't open until you get home because they're just going to fill you up full of like more random stuff, depending. So if you're already full to being slot capped, yeah. And if you're not in encumbrance pool, definitely don't open crates. I don't need that, so I can drop that. And a fair few of these and some tattoos that don't particularly do anything for the wearer anymore. And this is a look at what the decorations look like once set up. So they're kind of worthy to get if you like decorations. Don't forget to add your goblin horns to your fluid press and it's gonna start giving you about 10 for 1. There's a couple of things that you can add in there that might give you more. Like I said, highly advise doing this vault straight away. Do it multiple of times. It's a great place to come farm. You get excellent weapons from them, some more armor, bunch of resources. It's why it's #1 on the guide. Check out the other guides on the other vaults, and if you found this information informative, do smash that like and subscribe button. It means a bunch. I'll see you next time. Until then, have an excellent day, evening, night, morning, whatever it may be, wherever you may be.